All right. All right. Hello? There we go. Okay. Hi guys. Welcome to summer workshop session. Summer session workshop, summer classes, that's what it's called. We're gonna go over a lot of tools today. So keep with me. If you have a device available, please get that out. We're gonna be going through some stuff and some tools. We're gonna go over registration information both at Cal Poly, and we'll also look at outside institutions as well. Like assist.org, cdc.edu, which you'll get familiarized with. We're also going to touch on very briefly quarter to semester considerations. We're not going to go fully into depth with it, but we will kind of touch on it. Thank you. Okay. With the Mustang Success Center, I'm Cynthia, by the way. I'm an advisor in the Mustang Success Center. With your Mustang Success Center, you have 4 learning outcomes. This is going to touch on that second and that third learning outcome. Next slide. Okay, so why take summer classes? What are things that you should think about? Really, this is going to be specific to your own scenario. You know yourself best, but common reasons that people do it is to get ahead in their coursework, right? If you fell behind in units, if you need to kind of catch up because you took a really chill quarter in the fall or the winter, that's something so that you can retain your graduation timeline, right? To help you focus on fewer courses, a lot of especially STEM heavy majors will take like GEs over the summer so that they can just focus on their like intense major specific or support courses. It can be cost effective depending on financial aid, and we will talk about that some more too, but it can be cost effective depending on your own situation. If you need to finish up sequence courses, and this is a particularly interesting time for those, so we'll go over some more considerations for those. But if you're like in a math or a physics or a chem sequence that you need to finish up, summer can be a good time to do that before we change over to semester. I do want you to know they are completely optional though, right? So they are completely optional, but they are a good thing to have available. And you also need to think about your goals, which I got caught up there. But if you're interested in a minor, if you're interested in graduating early, or just kind of catching up, those are all good things to consider as well. Okay. Other things to keep in mind when we're talking about summer is going to be the price differences, but particularly between California community colleges and Cal Poly, especially without financial aid. There are big cost differences that come into play at that point. Something else that you need to think about is transferring courses from a California community college to Cal Poly does take time. Currently, on the quarter system, it takes about 1 to 2 quarters for that course to transfer back and post into your degree progress report. This isn't official yet, but it's estimating that it's going to take about a semester once we switch over next year. Okay, so that's something that you have to think about as well. And then most importantly, if the class is a prerequisite and you plan on taking that prerequisite over the summer, come and talk to us in the Mustang Success Center or to your EOP or TRIO advisor, because there are special considerations we have to take in mind when we're talking about a prerequisite. Other thing to consider, oh, that went by itself.
Might be a
I think
timer
it's
on there.
timed. You go back. Yeah. One more. There we go. Other things to consider, grade forgiveness. So if, let's say I get an F in Math 141 and I retake it at Cal Poly and I get an A, that F is erased from my GPA calculation, still in my transcript, but not included in my GPA. But if same scenario, if I'm in Math 141, I fail it here at Cal Poly and I retake it at Cuesta College and I get an A, it's then factored into my GPA as a C because the F and the A were averaged, right? So that's something to consider. About 99% of California community colleges are not going to offer upper division courses. So those are your 300, 400 level classes. And then what does that say? Oh, we have a short summer this year. So our quarter is going to end in June, and then fall semester is going to start in August. Typically, we've started in September, right? But also those semester institutions, they typically end in May. So we're going to have a much shorter summer this year. Just something to keep in mind as well. Next slide. Okay. How many classes should you take over the summer? Can you hit that next one? Thank you. Normally, it's recommended to take about 1 to 2 classes over the summer, and you have to consider a few things. What does your availability look like? Are you going to be taking care of your little siblings that are not in daycare and don't have school this summer, right? Do you have an internship lined up? Are you going to be traveling? And is it feasible for you to spend time, right, on classes? And then how have you historically done? If physics is not your strong suit and you decide to take an accelerated 5-week physics class, you gotta think, am I being set up for success, right? We want you to do well in that. Let's see. Oh, also, if it's an online class, have you ever taken one before? What was that like? Do you have capacity to keep yourself accountable and keep yourself on track? Okay. Go ahead. Okay. Big thing, financial aid. So a lot of technical stuff in that first line. The amount of financial aid is going to be based on the units that you enroll in. It's based on other things like your student aid index, which comes out of the FAFSA directly, and also what remaining eligibility you have in Cal Poly's financial aid programs. You do have to have a FAFSA or a CADA. That CADA is for my AB 540 students on file. Waitlist classes are not going to count for your enrolled units. So if you are waitlisted for classes here at Cal Poly, you need to get in touch with financial aid so that they can give you an estimate. Okay. Summer financial aid packages are going to begin to be awarded in May. You will see that in your student portal, the my.calpoly.edu portal, beginning in May. Also, common misconception, but Cal Poly Scholars students, Cal Poly Scholars does not pay for summer classes. That gets thrown around every year, and I'm not exactly sure where students hear it from, but just so you know, just to clear the air, Cal Poly Scholars does not pay for it, but many, if not all, of Cal Poly Scholars students are eligible for aid for the summer. It keeps doing it. Why is it on the timer? Hold on, guys. But yeah, basically it comes down to like contact financial aid to see about your situation. Also, if you add or drop courses, especially if you drop courses, talk to financial aid because that can impact your aid and if you have to pay it back and things like that. Next one. If you're going to explore a California community college, there is something called a California College Promise Grant in which fees and tuition, it waives enrollment fees at California community colleges. Again, you need to talk to financial aid to see if you're eligible for that. I don't have the answers for that for you, unfortunately. And then even if you're not a Cal Poly scholar, or even if you don't plan on taking a California community college class, talk to financial aid about what your options are for funding summer. Okay, the contact information for financial aid is there. Email them. I know they are backed up on emails and it can take them a while to get back to you, so be patient. Or you can go to their drop-ins in the admin building. Okay. Okay. So if you're just thinking about taking a class here at Cal Poly, go ahead. This is our registration timeline for summer this year. So on Monday, the class schedule is already out. You can see what Cal Poly is offering, okay? That is available in your student center under class search or in schedule builder, and it's out. You can literally look at the offerings right now. Then enrollment appointments, round 1 of enrollment is gonna start on the 27th through the 30th. It keeps doing it. Through the 30th, but you're gonna have a specific enrollment appointment for yourself. So just like we've done for the past 3 quarters, you have a specific time and day in which you can enroll for summer here at Cal Poly. Round 1 is gonna be 18 units max. I'd be really surprised if any of you reach that max, not common. And then you do have 16 units of waitlisting, okay? During round 2, aka open enrollment, that unit max, again, not that any of you will probably use it, but it's gonna go up to 22. The waitlist unit stays the same at 16, okay? So 16 units of waitlisting. We recommend that you use them if you are struggling to get into a class. Okay. This is what Cal Poly is offering this year. They're offering a 5-week session, so half the time of a quarter, right? Accelerated. And they're offering a 7.5-week session. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second by 5-week and 7.5-week. Pay attention to the dates. The classes are gonna start on the same. I cannot with this. The classes are gonna start on the same day, but they end at different times. So that can impact, oh, I'm traveling in August. Okay, maybe you do the 5-week session, or maybe you have longer capacity, or maybe it's a harder class and you really want to do the 7.5-week session. Those are all things that you have to kind of pay attention to. Next one. Okay, and then this is what it looks like in Student Center, specifically in Class Search. You'll notice where it says days in that third column, nope, in session in that third column, that top one says 1. That is telling me that that's a 7.5-week session. You can also, the one on the bottom says 5W1, 5-week session. Okay. If you forget about this, by the time you go to enroll, look at the dates over on the left, right? Over on the right, it says the dates. That top one says 6/22 through August 12th. That bottom one, 6/22 through July 24th. Also really important, pay attention to the modality, the instruction mode. Both of these, for example, that I screenshotted are asynchronous. There are in-person classes being offered. So if you don't have a living situation figured out here at Cal Poly, or you just want to do an asynchronous one, make sure that you're signing up for an asynchronous one. If you could click. So just showing you what to look for. Okay. All right. Okay. And another piece about registration. So to qualify, and this is directly from student accounts, not necessarily financial aid, so a different department, but to qualify for a full reversal of fees, you have to drop all the units, including waitlisted classes, before the session begins. So that means that if you want a refund of all the money that you've already paid for Cal Poly summer session, the day before classes begin, you have to drop the enrolled and the waitlisted units. And so for both the 5-week and the 7.5-week session, that's going to look like June 21st. Okay. Also, if you withdraw from a summer class, you might be asked to pay back the remainder of your fees that were covered. And that would look like a withdrawal, like once we're in week 3 of, let's say, the 5-week session, right? Okay. I have student accounts information on there. For those of you in person, I know it's kind of hard to see, but you can literally just Google student accounts Cal Poly if you have questions about refunding fees, making those payments. Okay. Okay.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Maria Valencia. I'm also one of the academic advisors at the Mustang Success Center. But let's transition into determining what classes to take during summer. All right, we're going to review some registration tools that are going to help you all identify which GE courses, which major courses, and support courses you still need. How many of you have heard Degree Progress Report before? Cool. All right. So your degree progress report is a personalized tool that tells you what requirements are satisfied and which ones are not. We're going to go ahead and use that hand in hand with your curriculum sheet, which is going to be a checklist of your major support GE courses and other graduation requirements. Before we start, let's go ahead and familiarize ourselves with the classes that you're going to need. So if you have a device with you, your laptop, let's go ahead and log into your Cal Poly portal, which you can find at my.calpoly.edu. I'll give you all a second to get there. Yeah, so once you're in your Cal Poly portal, let's go ahead and look for Student Center on the left-hand side, right under apps. And then once you're in there, you're going to want to click on academic progress. And then some different options are going to appear and you're going to select degree progress report, and it's shortened to DPR. Okay, so for your degree progress report, it's going to list out all of your degree requirements, and we're specifically going to look at your general education requirements. So we see a couple of colors popping up. The first one is going to be a green box that indicates that a course is satisfied. So in other words, the credits that are credits for the related area or class have already been completed either at Cal Poly or potentially by some transfer credits. You'll also see a yellow box that has the words satisfied in there. That's essentially letting you know that that class is currently in progress. So that's either being satisfied by a class that you're currently taking or something that you potentially enrolled in for next quarter. And then finally, you're going to see a red box that has the words not satisfied. And so that's going to let us know that those credits still need to be completed in the future. And so these are the classes that we're going to want to consider for your summer quarter. All right, does everybody have their degree progress report pulled up? Can I get a thumbs up for the in-person people? Perfect. Yeah, so using your degree progress report, let's go ahead and write down or make a note of some of the GE courses that have that little red box next to them, indicating that you haven't satisfied those yet. And also, when you're within the degree progress report feature in the Student Center, if you click on the drop-down menu, you'll be able to see specific subcategories. So for example, when you're looking at your A1s, or your area A's, it'll list your A1, your A2, and your A3. So that'll tell you specifically which course within that GE area you would need to fulfill. For this specific example, it is showing your general education courses, but within your degree progress report, you can also click on your major courses. So if you want to check those out as well, feel free to make a list of your major courses too, okay? And for people that are on Zoom, if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat box and then we can help you out.
In-person, if you guys have questions, feel free to raise your hand. Oh.
Yeah.
Where do you see your US cultural tourism? Like, how much chance?
All right. Do any of you have an example of a class that you wrote down or a GE area that you wrote down? That's okay if not. All right, let's move on to your curriculum sheet. So now we're going to go ahead and check and see if we have specific classes that are required for those areas that you wrote down. All right, so in a new browser, similar to where we were looking at to get to your Student Center in your Cal Poly portal, underneath the Academics tab, you're going to be able to see your flowchart and your curriculum sheet listed under your degree information. So let's go ahead and click on that curriculum sheet. You can find it within your Cal Poly portal, but you can also search up flowcharts.calpoly.edu and then access your curriculum sheet that way as well, okay? When we're looking at your curriculum sheet, each major has different requirements that must be fulfilled, and you may have certain GE classes that double count as a major or support course. So in this example, we're looking at a curriculum sheet that's specific to a business major. And so on the GE side, we can see that that B4 has 0 units on the unit portion, which is indicating that you don't need to choose an additional course, because within the support courses, that Math 221 is also going to double count as that GE designation. So typically when you see that 0, you can assume that it's double counting either within those major or support courses. Is everyone able to find their curriculum sheet?
Okay, like I mentioned earlier, and I'll go back to my side of the computer and I can scroll through it. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, we're gonna briefly, like this is by no means a deep dive into the semester conversion information, but I do want to give you like a general overview of especially things to consider. So this QR code. Okay, so college specific, all the information is held within your college, basically. Except for CAED and OCOB, you should have been added to a Canvas page. It should say like OCOB advising. It should say something like CAED advising. If you have not seen that yet, reach out to your college. If you're one of those two colleges, okay, you should have been added. They added all the first years as well so that they have access to all the quarter to semester information. But if you're any of the other colleges, you can also find the information on here. I don't believe you have a Canvas page that you've been added to. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So within the information that's provided to you through your college information, you should be able to find something in similar language. In this case, I'm using engineering as an example. Here we're seeing the mechanical engineering changing to semester catalog requirement mappings. So it's something along those lines of requirement mappings or equivalency guide. It will have something like that it says. Also really important to note is there is now, for most majors, the 1 year on quarter and 3 year on semester flow charts that you have access to, okay? So this is an example of, for example, mechanical engineering's equivalency guide or requirement mappings. For your major, I promise you there's something out there like this. It may not look the same. If you're mechanical engineering and you happen to get lucky and this is your major, this is one of those examples. There's like 4 pages of it though. So look through, and basically what I want to highlight here, if we look on the left side, second one down, ME 318, you'll see that's the quarter course, and then you'll see on the semester requirement, it says free elective. That's telling me you don't have to take that class. Or it got combined with another class. You can come in and check with us in the Mustang Success Center if you have more specific questions about it. Other things to know. So for example, again, mechanical engineering, it used to be they had to take Chem 124 and Chem 125 over there on the right. Right now they only need Chem 124 because that's going to transfer over or that's going to convert on semester to the new Chem 1120 requirement. So find your equivalency guide on that page, on your semester page. That's going to be your best friend going forward. Also, what I want you to look at, so again, if you happen to be mechanical engineering, which it looks like you got really lucky and I pulled yours up. So mechanical engineering, on that same website where we found the equivalency guides, you can find the 1 year on quarter, 3 year on semester, to also kind of give you an outline of what this looks like, what they kind of expect you to have done. If you're not right on track with it, that's okay. You can always come in and talk to us and see how that's going to impact you to the semester conversion. But just know that these tools are out there, okay? Okay, and if semester wasn't enough, we're also changing GE patterns. So hopefully you've heard of this by now, but we are changing GE patterns. This is an example up here, but let me give you a more in-depth explanation. The new GE pattern is going to be effective fall 2026. All of you who are first years are going to switch over to this new GE pattern. It's going to be called the CalGETC. So our current GE goes by letter. So we have A1, A2, A3. The new GE pattern, most of it stays the same, besides naming. I will say right off the bat, C, lower division elective and GE electives are going away, as well as area E. If you're enrolled in one of those courses right now, you can come and talk to us and we can figure something out, hopefully. But the new GE pattern is going to go by number. So you'll have a 1 A, B, C. You'll have a 2, that's math. You'll have 3A, 3B. I'm mentioning lower division also right now, but you will still need the 9 units or 3 classes on semester of upper division GEs as well. If you can hit that. What does that bottom say? That's okay. I made this graphic. If that helps you, I'm a visual person, and if you throw text at me, yeah. So feel free if you want to take a picture of that. Let me see what this.
It was referencing the upper division stuff.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so upper division is still going to be needed. Again, just different names for things, and a few of those went away, but for the most part, we're saying the same. Just new GE. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Hold on, guys. Okay. Also, with semester requirements, we have the new catalog. Hopefully this is not news to you, but we have the new semester catalog that finally is out. You can find it on Cal Poly, catalog.calpoly.edu, or you can literally just Google Cal Poly catalog. And you can find your specific major and requirements under programs. And then go to requirements. And this is what it will look like without the red circles, mind you. But what I want to highlight here is there's still, like how we saw on that curriculum sheet, the original one, there's still double counting that exists on the semester system. So for example, if I scroll all the way down, I can find the GE requirements for my major. What it's telling me there is that my area 4B, it says there's 3 units in the major in parentheses, and then at the very end, it says 0 units. Same thing with the 5B GE. There's a life science. It says 3 units in the major. That tells me I have to go look up in my major requirements to find out what class they want me to take for that. And so when I scroll up to my major courses, I can find there that, for example, for this psychology major, Psych 2201, Intro Psych is the 4B, and Psych 2240 is the 5B on the semester system. There might be some GE changes to your curriculum on the semester catalog, so please use the resources we've gone over and double check. Again, if you have questions about that, you can stay on afterwards to talk to us, or you can join the drop-ins with the Mustang Success Center. Okay. If you're a Cal Poly Scholar and you want credit for participation, scan this QR code. If you're not a Cal Poly Scholar, you don't need to worry about this. And then as a reminder to you Cal Poly Scholars, right? Cal Poly Scholars does not pay for summer classes, but you should talk to financial aid about funding for summer. Okay. And I'll give you guys, again, if you're a Cal Poly Scholar and you want participation credit for this, just go ahead and scan that QR code. Everyone got it? Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Scan the QR code. Okay.
The
Yeah.
QR code was, when I tried to do it, it said invalid session.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to.
Our Cal Poly Scholars person said, if you're trying to use Safari, use Chrome. Did anyone else run into that issue? I have some no's and some yeses. So hold on a minute, guys. Thanks for telling us. Let me see what we can do. Hold on. It's working. Okay. It's working on some of our ends. Maybe try refreshing. Yeah, it brings me to Cal Poly login.
Marcella said it is not working for me.
Okay. So it looks like there's some people that it's working, who in person, raise your hand if it worked for you.
I've never been my
Raise your hand if it didn't work.
Guys, it is day 5. I got here on Sunday after a few
You're
days in camp.
unmuted,
This
Natalie.
coming Sunday will be my 1 week mark. I'm definitely still adjusting, but it is a great
Oh.
experience. Pardon my oily hair. I just
Oh
oiled it. That's at the beginning. I was struggling quite a bit. The lifestyle here is really different. It definitely took some getting used to, but I think I adjusted pretty fast.
no. Okay. Okay, it did not work on Safari, but worked on Google, people are saying.
I noticed when I like instead of clicking open link, I just clicked copy link and then pasted that in, and that seemed to work for me on Safari.
Thank you. There's some troubleshooting methods. Okay, virtual folks, I'll give you guys another minute to figure this out. Hold on a second. Yeah, guys, so we're not going to go over specific major conversion information. For that, come to either Mustang Success Center or your EOP or TRIO counselor. Okay, give us a minute, guys. Okay, it looks like you guys are troubleshooting that QR code. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. Just FYI, that is not the end of the presentation, but if you've got to go, you've got to go. Okay. We are going to explore assist.org. This is how you find out if a class that you take at a California community college will transfer back to Cal Poly and give you credit. Maria?
All right. So what is assist.org? It's an official website that shows us course transferability, and it'll show us all transferable courses between the CSUs, the UC, and the CC, California Community College schools. So it'll show us general education courses as well as course articulations. They show us the credits and transferability for established major and support courses. Whenever changes are made, they're displayed on the website immediately. So everything on this website is up to date in terms of course articulations. All right, so when you open up assist.org, it'll show us different filters that we can use. The left-hand side is going to be for those course articulation agreements. So in other words, if you're looking at a major or support course that needs to be specific in terms of what you're taking for your major, you would want to use the left-hand side, and that way you can see which specific course you would be taking at a CC in order to give you that specific credit here at Cal Poly. Now, when you're looking at those general education courses, you can use the right-hand side filter. That way you can choose between multiple courses that'll all will fit that GE designation that you're looking for. So, when you're picking your classes for registration and you have multiple courses to choose potentially for your C1, that's also how this filter would work. It'll show you all of the potential courses to count in those GE areas. All right. And so when you're looking at GEs, you want to make sure that towards the bottom, you're using the Cal GETC for UC and CSUs. That's going to be that GE pattern that we're going to be switching over to on semesters. In terms of your GE area D1, did anybody write that down when you were looking at the courses that you still need? If that was one of the ones you wrote, the GE area D1 is the only GE that has 3 separate components. So it has US component 1, 2, and 3. When you're completing, you need to complete all 3 in order to get credit for that GE area D1. To find these components, you're going to use a separate filter that's found within the right-hand side of the tools that pop up on assist.org. And so it's going to be the one that says CSU US History, Constitution, and American Ideals. Yeah. For the GE area D1, the courses at Cal Poly already have all 3 components built into them. So you would complete that D1 with just 1 course here at Cal Poly. That being said, we recommend that you take your GE area D1 at Cal Poly. But if you have potentially some credit that fulfills component 1 or component 2, potentially from some transfer credit, previous transfer credit or AP credit, then you can talk with an advisor and we can see what course of action would be best for you. All right, so let's open up assist.org and then we can do a live demonstration. Okay, so when we're looking at assist.org, let's go ahead. What community college are we all looking at? Does anybody have an example that we want to search up? Okay, let's do Cuesta. So when we're looking at articulation agreements, we're going to use that left-hand side. So let's look at what's offered at Cuesta College. In this section that says agreements with other institutions, you'll want to be sure to put in Cal Poly and then view agreements. When we're on this left-hand side, you'll see that you can either filter it by major, department, or prefix. So let's go ahead and look at the prefix. And then we're going to use a math course for this example. So let's say that you need Math 141 and you're hoping to take this during summer. When you click on that prefix on the left-hand side, you'll see that it'll list all of the courses at Cal Poly. So you'll want to find the one that says Math 141 for Calc 1. And then on this right-hand side, let me move this really quick. Yeah, it's not showing me the little X. Okay. Oh, there you go.
Hold on, guys. There we go.
Perfect. Okay, so back to the example for Calc 1. On the left-hand side, you'll see it'll say Math 141. And then what you want to look out for is to see if there's a course that's going to be offered at Cuesta that'll come over as the course that you're looking for. So for this example, if you take Math 265A, that'll give you credit for Math 141 here at Cal Poly. Something that you want to make note of, let me find, okay, so say that you were trying to take Math 202, so orientation to math majors. If you look on this right-hand side, it'll say no course articulated, so you don't want to go and find something similar if it's not listed on here, because then it won't translate over appropriately to Cal Poly for those major specific or support specific courses, okay? Now, if we go back to the filters, let's look at general education courses. We're going to use Cuesta one more time. Yeah. Yeah. Does anybody have a GE area that they're looking at?
We will literally look it up for you.
Yeah. Your B1. And then what community college are you thinking about taking them at? Southwestern. And you said it was the B1, right? Perfect. So for B1, you'd want to look at the Cal Getsy area. And then remember, when we're switching to the new GE pattern, it's going to have a different name. So the B1 is going to translate over to the 5. Oh, is it 5A or 5B? Yes. We're also learning these GE patterns with you. 5A. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, so instead of searching it by prefix, I went specifically to the Cal GETC area and then looking at that 5A, the physical science, you'll see in here that there's a list of courses that are being offered that'll come over as the 5A to Cal Poly. Something that you want to keep in mind is this date removed category right on the furthest right-hand side. If you see a date that's listed on there, that'll mean that it's no longer part of the agreements, so it's not going to give you credit for that GE. So when choosing a B1 or your 5A, as long as it doesn't have a date removed, then you'd be able to take it and get some GE credit here at Cal Poly. For people on Zoom, does anybody have a course that a GE designation that you want us to look up for you in a community college? Let us know. I'm also,
I got one.
yes, okay.
Or what would I do? Would anything work for like free elective? Does it, or is there still like a requirement to do that?
Good question. For your free electives, yeah, Cynthia, do you want to take that question?
Yeah, so a free elective is gonna be anything that's not in your major, support, or GE. So even if you wanted to, it's really up to you what you wanted to do. So a free elective can literally be anything that's not already in your curriculum. Do you have an idea in mind of what you want to do for your free elective?
There, like, I don't know, just for example, there's like a art appreciation, but I've already done like an art
Okay.
intro to photography with
You
that.
could do another like C1 arts course. Do you want us to look for one of those?
Yeah, sure.
Cool, okay.
And then what community college are you thinking about?
Also, Questa.
Cuesta, perfect. So Cuesta, let's go ahead and look at those GEs. Since that art one is within your C1s, when we switch to semester, our new GE pattern, that one will be your area 3A. So we'll go ahead, use that GE area filter, the specific one that you're looking for, and then you'll see a list here of art classes. What you can do specifically is look at the course and then whatever has that art subject, you can see if any of them catch your interest. And then if you already had your C1 fulfilled, this would transfer over to Cal Poly and fulfill those free electives for you.
Cool. And then I was looking on Questa too, and a lot of them I've just filtered by CSU transferable. Is that also like that's probably just good to go, right?
I would say it's good practice to double check on assist.org since those agreements tend to change. So if we look up here, the agreements go by academic year. So you might see something that was transferable for 2024 and 2025, but maybe not necessarily the summer term that you're planning on taking it. So just good practice to double check on assist.org as well. Yeah, good question.
Perfect. Thank you.
One more job.
Yes.
B1 at Fresno City.
Fresno City. All right. So then just as a refresher for community college, you'll want to put in that Fresno City College and then that Cal GETC for UC and CSU. And we said C1, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Let's switch that filter to Cal GETC area, and that C1 is going to turn into your area 3A. Right in here. This one's a good example. So you'll see right in here how it says date removed and it says fall 2028. However, if you picture that kind of as a timeline on when you can take these courses, that would still fall into the contract agreements if you'd be taking it during fall of 2026. So for this example, you can take any of these courses and they would come over as your GE area C1 or that GE area 3A. Okay, can you look for Cal 4? Institutions. Yeah, so we had, we're looking at a specific major or support course at Hartnell College. I believe it was Calc 4. So then again, for specific courses, you want to put the CC that you're going to be planning to take it at, and then Cal Poly, and let's view those agreements. And then you'd want to search it by prefix, and that's going to be math. Calc 4. Yeah, so Calc 4 at Cal Poly, Calc 4 is Math 241. So then let's see if there's Math 241. So you'll see right here at Cal Poly, Math 241, if you took Math 3C, so Analytic Geometry in Calc 3 at Hartnell College, it would come over as the appropriate course to grant you credit for Calc 4 at Cal Poly. Yep. Were you all able to find some courses on Assist? I think we're ready to go, yeah. Does anyone on Zoom want to see some more examples before we move on?
I think someone was talking. Was someone talking or am I tripping?
I think you might be tripping.
I'm tripping. Okay, guys, we are gonna move on. Again, if you have other questions specifically about Assist, you're welcome to come to Mustang Success Center for our drop-in hours or with your EOP or TRIO advisor. Oh. What's happening? Okay, there we go.
Is there a different one for present from slide?
Yeah, if you go to slideshow. Present from current slide.
Oh, there's someone in the chat. Thank you.
Okay.
Perfect.
Please go forward. You want to do this or should I?
I can do it. All right, some things to keep into consideration when using assist.org. You do not sign up for your courses through Assist. So this is a tool specifically for getting an idea of what courses are offered at a community college, but you do not register for these courses through this website. The colleges have different course offerings as well. So if you're looking for a course that isn't showing up, you do have the option of looking at another community college and see if that one is offering the course that you're looking for. As mentioned prior, the GE Area D1 is a tricky category, and so we highly recommend that you take that one at Cal Poly just to avoid potentially not taking the components that are needed. Unless you have partial credit, then please come talk to an advisor and we can walk through what would be your best course of action. As always, in general, just check in with academic advisors or an academic counselor if you have additional questions or need some support. Additionally, since we are switching from quarter to semester, try and stay away from taking classes at a on quarter system. So there's three community colleges that are on quarter system. That's going to be De Anza, Foothill, and Lake Tahoe. If it's absolutely necessary or unavoidable to take these classes at the specific community college, be sure that you take a class that is at least 5 units, and so you're not deficient in any units when they translate over to Cal Poly. For semester community colleges, make sure that you are taking courses that are 3 units or more. And then when you're looking at those course agreements on assist.org, you can download or screenshot those articulation agreements just so you have them in your personal record. Yeah.
If you take a community college that's on semester, at least for the ones I've looked at, the first 5 days are during finals week. So how do you work around that? That instruction is going to start, and then you're also trying to take community college courses at the same time.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Because of that, we have been encouraging students to potentially, if you're planning to take a GE class that's offered virtually, you can look at those options. That way you're able to attend that course, but also be able to attend your finals. We are going to look at another tool that helps you look at virtual courses specifically, and they have additional filters where you can see if those classes are going to start a little bit later. And so we'll kind of walk you through how to import the courses, the dates that'll line up with when our finals week happen.
Also, if you have to take courses, like there's no other way that you can take any other courses somewhere else, what you can do is email the professors and say, hey, is it okay if I miss the first week of school? And it's up to the professor to say yes or no, and that's how you can kind of navigate that. Yeah.
And this is that other tool that we're talking about, which we kind of did that.
Yeah.
So, okay. This is that other tool we were talking about. I am gonna sit for this one because we're gonna do another demo. This is gonna be for finding specifically only online courses at California community colleges. So like the predicament that one student here in person said, hey, if there's overlap between like finals week or even the start of fall semester, how do we go about that? An online course can be a really good way to kind of navigate that. So we're going to explore in just a minute California Virtual Campus. It's an online database that lists online courses being offered across the 115 California community colleges. So if you plan on taking a course online, or if maybe that is the only option that maybe is available to you because of travel, because of other responsibilities, because of the timeline of summer this year, this is going to be your best friend. And so the benefit of this is being able to know what college to sign up for. There's no kind of guesswork involved. And you also don't have to stick to only your local community college. If you're from the San Luis Obispo area, you don't just have to take Cuesta classes online. You can do something up north at Napa Valley College. You can take something down south at San Diego Community College, something like that. So that's the pro about this website. And so let's go ahead. Oh, just kidding. Some considerations before I show you guys the website is that some classes, generally for the most part, they're pretty good about this, but some classes may not display the GEs correctly. So we have to double check, and it's very, very highly encouraged that we double check with assist.org. So we've already learned how to use Assist. Now it's going to be a matter of checking to make sure that the information that is on cvc.edu is correct. So let's open up cvc.edu, and that's literally like, you can type that into Google, cvc.edu, and it will bring you to California Virtual Campus. And if my computer will work, I will get there eventually. Okay. So this is California Virtual Campus. Again, that's cvc.edu. And let me show you. So someone give me a GE that they want to take online. You guys are really quiet. No one wants to take anything online?
C1.
A C1. Thank you, Gabby. Okay, so we are going to go in here, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. It's gonna ask you, what's your home community college? Or I do not currently attend one. For you to get the most options available to you, even if you don't attend one already, if you've never attended a California community college, you're just gonna pick literally any, okay? I'm gonna pick, I don't know, Butte College. It doesn't matter which one you pick. Then I am going to go to the CalGETC requirements. Remember, that's the new GE that we're gonna be on. Then Gabby said a C1. I know off the top of my head, that's a 3A arts on the new CalGETC requirements. And I'm going to click find classes. And if it loads, there we go. So if it loads here up at the top, it's telling me, okay, there were no Butte College courses that were found, but that's okay because the system is now telling me, but look at all these other classes that are C1s as well that you can take. Now, the important thing here is going to be filters. So only show courses with available seats. Obviously, we want to not look at stuff that's already full, so I'm going to leave that checked off. You can decide if you would rather do a fully asynchronous course. You can do that. So I'm just for the sake of the demo, I'm going to say I just want an asynchronous C1. I'm going to select for it to have no prerequisites. And then we were talking about dates. So I'm gonna uncheck all of these, and unfortunately it is gonna refresh every single time that I do that. So give me just a minute here until only summer 2026 is left. Okay, when is first day of fall? Let's see. 24th? Okay, so I'm gonna say I want it to end before the 22nd. That way I can come, I can start my semester in the fall and I don't have to worry about my summer class. Okay, so I'm gonna hit search. Okay, now it's giving me these options. So some of this is probably gonna have overlap with our Cal Poly end of term, to be honest with you. But the good thing about this is it's giving me options. So it's giving me Coalinga, Santa Ana, lots of options at Santa Ana, Cerritos College, Reedley College. I can take any of these. And again, I want to make sure though that I am taking the right one. So I'm going to look at Shasta College. Let's say I really am into music and I want to take world music. So if you'll remember in my note, I said, let's double check it with Assist to make sure everything's right. It's at Shasta and it's a 3A. So I'm going to go back to Assist, look up Shasta, CalGETC, list. I'm going kind of fast, but stay with me. Arts. And then that class was not that one. Hold on. Music 1-4. So when I go down here, I'm seeing, yes, it will indeed count and there is no date removed. Again, if a class has a date removed, don't take it. It's not going to transfer. But this one is good to go. So I am actually on this website. The nice thing about this, it's telling me dates, professor, it's giving me a live seat count about less than a minute ago. There are 10 seats available, 0 textbook costs. It's online asynchronous. Here's the description. I can actually go ahead and enroll directly from this website, unlike Assist. So I can go ahead and add class. And then it will then prompt you, and then you just follow the prompts. Pretty straightforward. If you already attend a California community college, you can log back in via your home college. Or if you have never attended a California community college, you can apply using CCC Apply. And so for example, I want to enroll in Shasta in this case. Apply. And then it will bring me to that application for admission to that community college. Okay. I went kind of quick there. What questions do you have? Or I can look up another one if someone wants me to. Yeah.
Do that for, what's reserved for?
Ooh, good question. So the question virtual is if you can only do it for GE courses or if you can do it for like a specific maybe major or support course. You can do specific major or support courses. For that, it gets a little tricky, but you can use keywords because the home college course name will list out things specifically at that community college that you're looking at. So I would recommend, for example, if you want to do, I don't know, what should I look up? A math?
Math.
If you want to do a specific math, I'm gonna just look up math or calc. And again, I would need to go in here and fix my filters, but let's see here. Actually, maybe calculus is gonna be a better bet. Hold on. If I type in calculus under keyword, yeah. So for example, College of Alameda, Calculus 3, I would then need to go into assist.org and see, okay, what does that transfer as to Cal Poly? Okay. So yes, you can use it for both GE and for major support courses. Oh, yeah. Could I take a math or physics class as well? Yes. So Eric, we just looked that up. If I want to look up physics as well. Where it gets a little bit tricky is if a class has a lab. Typically, labs are going to be offered in person, depending on what it is. So that is the only part where it gets tricky, where you may not be able to find as much. But for example, yep, here's some physics options. Again, you would need to double check with assist.org to see what does this transfer as to Cal Poly, if anything, right? Other questions? No? Chat? Chat, anything for you guys? No? Okay. That means I did my job well. You're welcome, Eric. Okay. All right. And so remember, assist, course transfer, is the course going to transfer over? You do not enroll through there. CBC, you can enroll through there and look up online classes, but you got to double check with assist. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's wrap this. Why is my screen white? Okay. Last couple of things. We're almost there. Thank you guys for being so patient with us. Okay. What time is it? Nice. I will get you guys out of here. Okay, so that was CVC. I'll stay sitting. So if you sign up for a California Community College class or just any online, any summer class that you're taking that's not at Cal Poly, you are going to need to send your transcript back to us. We'll get to that in a second. For some classes, for example, if you're looking at taking a math or a physics and they have prerequisites that you need to meet, and you need to provide that community college with an unofficial transcript, you can find it in your student center under student records and then click view unofficial transcript. And then, oh, why is the Zoom bar over here? And then this is what that page will look like. You can click view PDF and then you can either download or print it out and provide that to that community college if they need it to verify a prerequisite. So like if you want to take, I don't know, Calc 2 at a community college, they need to see that you are in Calc 1 right now. This is how you can prove that. Okay. If it will go, I will show you the next slide. Okay. Again, after you finish the class and you have that grade on your transcript at the community college you are doing it at, you are going to need to send your transcript back to Cal Poly. Most of the time, you're going to be able to do this through your portal from that community college. Just like you have a Cal Poly portal, you'll have a community college portal at whatever institution you decide to take it at. You're then going to need to send it back to Cal Poly so that we can post it, or Office of the Registrar can post it on your record and it can give you credit in your degree progress report. Again, estimated timeline for that on semester hasn't quite been decided yet, but we're looking at about a semester for it to transfer back and post. Really important. If the class that you're taking over the summer is a prerequisite you are gonna want to get in touch with whatever department it is. So if you're taking a chem class, if you're taking a chem class, get in touch with the chem department. If you're taking physics department, math department. Especially important if you are taking a math class over the summer and then you need to enroll in the next one in the series for fall, you're gonna want to email math, and their email is math@calpoly.edu, and let them know about your situation, and let them know I would like access to the enroll ahead form. Otherwise, because of prerequisites, the system for fall registration is not going to let you register for that class that you need in the fall. Okay, so I need you guys to be proactive about it. Once you've identified a course, once maybe you come verify with us, get that ball rolling and let math know, or the proper department. Okay,
They need their class schedule,
good
from
question.
the summer to be able to email the departments.
Yes, math is gonna want proof that you are enrolled in one of those classes. So same thing, you can just take a screenshot of you being enrolled in that class at a community college and send that their way on the enroll ahead form. Good question, thank you. Okay. Okay. If anyone in here is planning on taking a class out of state, you have a different process, to be honest. So you are gonna want to get in touch with our evaluations unit that is part of Office of the Registrar. You're gonna need to send them everything on here. So your name, MPhil major, you're gonna need to look at I thought it was moving. You're gonna need to look at the description of the course that is being taken out of state. And provide evaluations with all of this information. Again, if you have more questions about that and are out of state, you can come and talk to us, your trio, or EOP counselor. Okay. Okay, and then like we saw with oh my God, with cvc.edu, to get officially signed up for that community college in California that you're looking at, you're gonna go to cccapply.org and just follow the prompts. It's a pretty straightforward process, nothing too crazy in there, but you're gonna need to go ahead and do that so that you can be a student and get an enrollment date and all that stuff at that community college. Okay. Those of you still here with me, please, 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 scan this post survey. If you're on a phone or on a computer, there's a tiny URL if that is easier for you. Okay, give you guys just a minute. Okay. As you guys do that, okay. Oh, that's all I have for you guys. That was a lot of information. So if you have questions or if your maybe case is a little bit more complicated, you're welcome to stay on. I will hang around. But again, you can join Mustang Success Center drop-ins Monday through Thursday, in person, virtual 10 to 5, in person 10 to 4. And then Friday we just close up 4. Okay, and our in-persons are 10 to 1 on Fridays as well. EOP counselors as well are able to answer all these questions, and trio advisors as well.
So I'll stay